Okay.
Did you change your battery?
Yeah, I already did. So, all right, so the section we're in section 6.6, we're gonna be finding the rate. Okay, finding the rate. We're gonna do a few notes here, just to make sure that we know kind of how to do these types of problems. I'll kind of put each type on the board. Remember, there's two methods we've been really practicing the last couple days in here. I've actually been practicing for almost a week now on some of this stuff. I think it was like last Thursday or Friday we started it. So, here's the idea. On these methods, number one was an algebraic. The algebraic method, that's where you set up like the variable in there, like x or y, and then you divide or multiply numbers together, however you're going to do it. And then number two, this is the newer way we've been starting this week, was proportions. And this is the one that we need to talk about today, because the problem that I was going to hint at yesterday, which you guys spent most of the time working on your homework, was we spent most of the time talking about, doing algebraic, but the method we're going to look at today can't use that. So here's my example I'd like you to write down. So 15 is what percent of 30? Now this is kind of an easy one, most people know this one right off the bat, but I want to talk about this style of problem. The goal today is to talk about how to always do it with the algebra way of doing it, and then to talk about how to do proportions, because you guys are pretty good with the proportion idea. So we're gonna talk about this first problem. Okay, so here we go. 15 is, so 15 equals what percent, so I'm gonna put W. The word of means to multiply, and you have 30. Now, this is the normal problem you've been doing since last week. Since the W is not by itself, you have to divide this number across. Now, if W is by itself, you just do the math on the one side. But W is being multiplied by 30, so you divide that over, you get 15 divided by 30. Whatever this answer is, that is not your final answer. It'll be a decimal. In fact, if you take it and you divide in your calculator, 15 divided by 30, you get 0.25.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to get on your calculator. Then you have to move the decimal. So on this one, because since they want this part, which is technically the rate, you don't want to write your number as an actual rate, okay? Or you don't want to write it as a decimal. So we're going to move this over 2 spots, and so this actually turns out to be 50%, which is the number I'm looking for. All right. Questions about what we're doing here? Okay, now here's the thing. On this particular problem, it would have been easier. It would have been easier actually writing it as a proportion. Okay, here's what I mean. As a proportion, here's the concept. Okay, the rate goes on the top of this side by itself with the 100. That's the part I notice a lot of people always get wrong. They put the rate in the wrong spot. On this side, you're going to put the word that's around the word is here, and you're going to put the word that's around the word of over here. Because what these stand for, this is the percentage. Not percent, but percentage. It's the small number, the small group.
That's 50, by the way.
And, yeah.
Oh.
And then the word of is the large group, which is the base. And this is the large group. Okay, but this is my little hint for how you do it. So if we're looking for the rate, like we don't have this number, like what percent, like 50% or 30%, they didn't give me that. I can put the small group of people here, the large group of people here, and actually solve it. Because the word that's by the word of is 30, the number that's by the word is the 15. And then you cross multiply and divide, and it actually, if you cross multiply, you're going to start with 100, because you always start above or below the W, or wherever the W is at. You cross multiply and divide, 100 times 15, and you're going to divide by 30. And that would have just told me right off the bat that it was going to be 50%. It would have just said 50, which is your answer. But if you do it the old algebraic way, and you're trying to find the rate, the what percent, you have to move the decimal in the end, which is weird, because we normally don't have to do that. Okay, questions, comments about that problem?
No.
Okay, it's basically the same style of problem we've been doing. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one more example. I'm going to put it over there. Okay, let me start the camera here. Okay, so on the next style problem, these are going to be the ones like we did last week, which was find the percentage. So here's my next example. What number is 10% of 62. Now this is going to be, your answer will be a decimal, it's fine. It looks like on this one we're not looking for the rate, we're not looking for the percent. They gave me 10% here. We're trying to find the other number, the number that's by the word is. So if you're following this method, this proportion way, the rate was given to me. What was my rate on that problem?
Is rate over is.
Rate's the one with a percent sign.
So 10.
10. That always goes over 100. The rate is the number that goes here, right? Rate goes here, the 100 goes on the bottom of it. On this side, the word that comes around the word is goes here, and the word that's around the word of goes here. So it looks like in this case, I don't have this number. That's the number by the word is missing, so that's my variable. The number by the word of is the 62, that's my base. Then you can cross multiply. When you cross multiply, you start with the number above or below the x. You cross multiply and divide. So 62 times the 10,
Sam,
and divide by 100.
I'm gonna be moving.
And this turns out to be 6.2. If you actually type it in your calculator. Now, some people like that, some people don't. So, because it's very easy to figure out. Now, if you do it by the algebra way, this problem is way easier. What is 10%, this is 10% as a decimal, of 62? You don't need to move anything around. This turns out to be just 6.2. You don't have to move everything. So the algebra way is simple in certain cases. That problem that we just did a little bit ago is a perfect example of why you'd actually choose the algebra way of doing it versus the proportion. But this problem over here is, like, I almost prefer the proportion on this one. Okay, but I'm showing you two examples so you can actually practice that. Questions, comments about what we're doing here? Okay, I'm going to spread you guys out. We're going to take a quiz here.
Quizzes.
All right, it's 6 questions. That's all it is. 6 questions.
Good.
All right. 6 questions. I want to see if you're paying attention and we can move on. I'm going to maybe start playing a game with this stuff. All right, so let's read through the questions. Okay, your goal is to write the proportion or write the algebra problem and then solve it. Make sure you're putting your answer next to the blank. Does that make sense? So I'm going to give you space to write your answer. Name's got to go on the top. Date today is the 12th, so 4/12. And then obviously you can put the section, your period number is 6. Okay. I try to give you a hint on the top, try to give you an example. I'm leaving the 2 problems on the board if you'd like to use those, but make sure you're doing the calculator. So let's read through the question. So what number is 70% of 45? So you're looking for, on that one, you're looking for the percentage number. On the next one, 23% of 75 is what number? So again, you're looking for the percentage, the small group. The next one, you're looking for the rate, because they say 45 is what percent of 90, so you're looking for rate at number 3. Number 4, you're looking for the rate again, because it says what percent of 77 is 7. 5, you're looking for the base, because it says 15 is 25% of what number, so the base is missing. And then the same thing for number 6, you're looking for the base. 18% of what number is 43. Take your time, show all the math on the paper. You can even do the math that I have on the board. I even showed you both methods on the board today, so in case you want to choose one or the other. Proportion is probably the easier one for certain ones. Algebra is the other easy one. But I put them both on the board so you can see both examples today. Okay, this needs to be turned in before you leave, and it's a pop quiz, so this is something we can't retake. So it's a one-shot option. So use your calculator
You said
though.
on quizzes we can only retake it once.
Tests you can, not pop quizzes. Pop quizzes you can. Pop quiz is what you know right now. I'll give you a multiplication chart if you need it. I don't know if you'll actually need it because you have a calculator in front of you, but I always like to provide it in case you do. So if you need a multiplication chart, there you go, which you already have a calculator. Again, use the board, help you out, make sure you're putting the numbers in the right spot, it's all that good stuff.
Which way is the easiest way to go? Or which way would you prefer is easier?
I always think the algebra is easier.
That one.
I always think this, but some days aren't. But I provide it on both sides. The proportion way it works, but I think that algebra is easiest. That's the way we've been doing it a lot in here.
What happens if, wait, so if it's A equals 0.7,
Okay, so that's what you have written down. Do the math, just type it in.
do I divide that and
If you have the A by itself, you're good, just type it in. And that would be your answer.
that times,
Make sure that worked, like if you have that work on the side, just staple it to the actual testing, so.
Ouch.
Yep.
So, you have many Graham. Maddie, Graham.
Yeah.
When? Next.
Yeah.
Dang it. Don't say a word.
The camera will say everything.
Oh.
Ow.
It's still recording.
Hopefully you were talking quiet enough. Hey, Ward. Okay, so I think I set it up right. Oh, it's
Just make sure if it's a percent, you gotta write it correctly. If it's like